And next up, I'm going to invite Kat and Gabby for the Girls Inc.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gabby. This is Kat, and we'll be talking to you a little bit today about the Girls Incorporated of Jacksonville project. But the first thing I want to talk to you about is a girl. So this is Alexa. That's not her real name, but for the purposes of today's presentation, we'll call her Alexa. Just to give you a little context, we'll say Alexa is a girl in the Girls Incorporated of Jacksonville program, and she's in middle school. So think about yourself as a middle school girl, or think about a middle school girl you may know, and think about the kind of struggles that she's going through right now. She's going through a lot of changes. She may be struggling somewhat with her body image. In turn, she may be thinking a lot about what she puts into her body. So she might be thinking a lot about nutrition. She may be thinking about the kind of physical activities that she's doing or sports. She's probably having a lot of friendships. And she may be experiencing her first romantic relationships. And all these things could be amounting to a whole lot of stress. Excuse me. And so another part of that is Alexa goes to a Title I school in Duval County. And as many of you may know, Title I schools are schools where the majority of students receive a free or reduced lunch. So what you see behind me is a map of the Title I schools in Duval County in Health Zones 1 and 2, which is where Girls Incorporated of Jacksonville is focused. So if we think about Alexa in one of these schools, then we think that Alexa may, on top of all these other struggles, be also facing a poverty situation. So our key for Alexa here, what we would hope for her is that we could build a strong foundation in coping with these different stress factors. So that she will be able to focus academically and that she'll have good outcomes in the sense that she'll graduate from high school and she'll have more opportunities for future education and good employment opportunities in the future and hopefully break out of this cycle of poverty. So this is where Girls Inc. of Jacksonville is focused. They're focused on giving Alexa these foundations and making small incremental changes from an early age so that Alexa will have the equipment to go on and have greater success in the future. So this is the goal of Girls Inc. since they were formed in 1864. They were formed as the Girls Club in response to the Industrial Revolution and the Civil War as women were coming to be more present in the workforce. Girls Club was there to be a support system for those women. So since then, Girls Inc. has evolved. Girls Inc. of Jacksonville was formed in 1970, and it's changed into Girls Inc. from the Girls Club, and it's always adapting to face the environmental challenges facing young women. So today, Girls Inc. of Jacksonville serves over 1,700 girls every year, and they inspire them to be strong, smart, and bold. So Girls Inc. of Jacksonville offers programs to girls in elementary and middle school. So today we'll be focusing again on Alexa in the middle school programs. So what might a girl like Alexa see in her middle school programming with Girls Inc.? There will be periods for stress management. There's programs for positive body image. Alexa will learn about physical activity and healthy nutrition. There is a portion called Friendly Persuasion. This one talks about substance abuse and how to be a positive influence on one's peers. And there's a portion that touches on romantic relationships and intimacy called Willpower and Won't Power. And you'll see there's different colors here. The green will represent strong programming, which talks a lot about healthy living. And the purple represents bold programming, which will represent life skills. So an example of what a girl like Alexa might do in her programming for the nutrition period is talk to her peers and have a discussion about how the media influences the healthy food choices that we make. So we've talked a lot about girls and Girls Inc., and I'm going to turn it over to Kat, and she'll tell you a little bit more about our data science focus.
Thanks, Gabby. Great. So our data science focus was in line with Girls Incorporated focus, which is to look at that strong foundation and see, can we find these small incremental changes? Do they exist? So let's talk data. Girls Incorporated of Jacksonville collects a lot of data. Half of it is in the form of school grades, attendance records, behavioral reports. The other half is what Girls Incorporated collects themselves through the form of pre and post surveys, demographics, and program attendance. The pre and post surveys correspond to that programming Gabby just spoke to you about. So our primary focus was on the middle school, and the demographics, program attendance, and the pre and post surveys are housed by the Ounce of Prevention Fund. We looked at about 1,800 girls or rows, and it was over 4 years of school. So you might be wondering, what does a sample question look like on a survey? So on the body image survey, a girl would have to respond to the following statement: I can tell you 3 things that I really like about myself. And she would respond on a Likert scale from strongly agree to strongly disagree. So we would hope the girl would respond, strongly agree. All right, awesome. And she would have to respond to, I need to apply makeup or try different diets to feel better about myself. All right, we got it. So you can see that the positive response depends on the question. So a girl would get 2 points for that. That's important to know. In the distribution you'll see in the next slide, so there's a maximum of 20 points for most of the surveys. So what does a distribution of scores look like? So this is the body image survey distribution for pre-test scores. You can see there's a wide range of response or points on the pre-survey. Not many girls are getting the max score. There are girls even scoring not favorably, so getting negative points. And what we see is after body image programming on the post-test, they are scoring more positively. So we have a large number of girls scoring the maximum amount of points. You actually also see that not many girls are scoring in the not favorable area. So this is great news for the body image programming. So that distribution was the same for all 6 surveys. We're not going to show you all 6, but what we will show you is that Willpower Won't Power, which is the romantic relationships programming, had the largest effect size or the largest gains. So what you see here is that Willpower Won't Power, the post-test scores were 0.6 standard deviations higher than the pre-test scores. We don't really necessarily know why. Girls Incorporated did say that that one was the one recently revamped by National, so that could be something. Definitely an area to look into for Girls Incorporated. 2 specific questions on the Willpower Won't Power survey. So being assertive means letting people tell you what to do and never standing up for yourself. Strongly disagree. And there are no emotional consequences of being intimate before you are ready. Also strongly disagree. So on the pre-test, we saw that the median score was I don't know. So maybe a vocabulary issue, or they've just never thought about being in what the emotional consequences of being intimate. And what we saw across all girls was that the post-test, the girls were strongly disagreeing, which again is great news for the Willpower Won't Power programming. What you see here is the stress median pre and post total scores timeline for 2015 to 2017. What we wanted to look at was, does additional programming amount to better effects in the long run? I will say we made an assumption here. We were not able to track girls individually, but we did confirm with Girls Incorporated that a girl in school A in the 6th grade is most likely going to be in school A in the 7th grade, so that is the assumption we're making with this timeline. So what we see here is that in 6th grade, there's a pre-score of 5, median pre-score of 5, and then by the end of 6th grade, there's a median score of about 11. Sadly, after a year of not seeing this stuff, there's a drop, but anybody who's tried to learn or been a teacher, you know that happens. You got to do a lot of repetition. And by the end of their 7th grade year, the girls are getting about 18 total points on the median score. And then we see this big drop. We called this the 8th grade dip. This was something interesting we saw across all the surveys. We don't really know what's going on. We have more questions than answers for this, and it's definitely an area that Girls Incorporated should look into, what's going on here. And then we see by the end of 8th grade, they are topping out at that max 20 points. School 14 in the yellow, or the orangish yellow, is there for comparison. You see that they did not have previous programming. They did come in at a lower pre-test score, and they did not have the highest, they did not have a high post-test score as School 1. So this was consistent with another analysis we ran. So we did an ANCOVA controlling for the average pre-test score, and we did find that if you had previous programming, your post-tests were slightly higher. So that's, again, great news for Girls Incorporated, for those girls that have continuous programming. So let's talk recommendations. Girls Incorporated, we said, has a lot of data. The data is a lot of different places. So we highly recommend they get that data together in one place. Look for the gaps, look for areas of inefficiency so you can really ask those big questions and get answers. We also suggest they collect behavioral and longitudinal data. We were not able to track girls across time, and that could be really powerful. And to see, in long term, are the girls getting pregnant at lesser rates than their peers? Are they graduating high school at higher rates than their peers? We also recommend they reevaluate their survey questions to see if they're measuring the outcomes they want them to measure. And lastly, this is the most important, we just saw that previous programming makes a difference, so nurturing those current school relationships takes time and money to get into a new school, so we see the benefits, so really work at that. And our story wouldn't be complete without bringing it all back to Alexa. Girls Incorporated, their whole goal is, at the end of the day, that Alexa gets the strong foundation she needs, and ultimately that Alexa can say that she feels beautiful in her own way, like Ariana, that she can accept what makes her feel, makes her different, like Leilani, and she can do anything she sets her mind to, like Alexandria. Thank you.